Jason's a phenomenal coach. He's done such a great job. He's not unlike a player when I look at him, because he evaluates not only the team but himself. Consistently is adding things, throwing things out, coming up stuff, sticking with his core belief. And it allows you to have a chance to be as good as you can be offensively. I think our team consistently evolves that whole process. He's a great guy, he's a great coach. I learned a lot from him and Ray Wilson. We're growing all together in this, and it's looking to be great.
How much do you feel like he's molded you in a sense? A lot of us kid around that you now talk exactly like him and you never used to.
Yeah, if you're around me enough, I'll just transform into you eventually. I think I take what people, if someone, if I'm around Michael Jordan long enough, he's talking about something and I trust in what he's doing, I'm going to take some things from it because I think it's a benefit. And Jason has some very good insight and wisdom in a lot of areas, and I think there's a lot warranted in taking a lot of that and using it. And to his credit, I think that's a positive. And I think we all kind of do that, and we like to be around people that make us a little bit better.
And one more on this real quick, Tony. Troy had Norv in that sense. Breeze has Sean Payton in New Orleans, and you see how successful both of those have been. Do you feel like that you and Jason are on the verge of something like that? Do you have that kind of a magical thing going that could lead you to places those two have been?
Well, I think anytime, those teams have won a Super Bowl or Super Bowls, and that's part of what makes the outside influences like the media talk about them. If we go on and are lucky enough to one day do that, and I would imagine we think very highly of that. I don't think that's going to change my perception of the relationship with Jason. It's already as high as we're just going to continue to grow together. And my success is directly related to this.
I think guys are doing a good job of not getting caught up in it, to know that that's a long ways away. And Wade said in our meeting today, 197 days away. So a lot has to unfold. Ultimately, that's the goal. No different than 31 other teams. So we're just really focused on what we have to do day in and day out to get to that point.
Do you think Tony has reached that elite status as a quarterback? Last year, they still said he hadn't won a playoff game, but he has now. Do you think he's entered that echelon?
I really do think that he's there. I think that he's been there for a while. I think that he's a top-notch quarterback. I think he really embraces his role, and he understands what the expectations are for him. So I think he's been there for a while, and we're as good as he takes us. And so I think he knows that, and I think he's up for that challenge.
It's hard to believe you guys are already back to business.
It really is. I mean, it goes fast. It seemed like Minnesota was the other day, but it's great to be back at it and to see all these fans. I mean, it's this time of year again, and I think all of us are excited.
Every year the media likes to go back to last year for a second just to set you guys up for this year. Completely different than when we were here last year. Because you guys are coming off some playoff successes. Different for you guys even, building on momentum.
I think it is. I mean, I think that from one aspect you say, you don't just pick up where you left off. But the other aspect, I mean, there's a lot of continuity between the guys and believe that we can win. We know we can win. We know we got a good team. And so I think guys are just really just building on that, and understanding that we got a good team, we got a shot. And we can't get caught up in the big picture. Just so much has to happen in order to get to there. And for us, that's kind of where we're at, in the moment, and just taking advantage day in and day out. And so when you do that, I think ultimately good things are going to happen. And focus on Washington and not in February.
You guys didn't have a first-round draft pick last year. All of a sudden, Des Bryant rolls in. It's just a completely different atmosphere. What's it like having a guy with that kind of claim around here coming into the camp?
Well, it's exciting. I think obviously he's a talented player. I mean, he's still learning a lot, but I think for a veteran like myself to see a guy like that he's the first one out here, he's smiling like a little kid. And I mean, he loves football, he's passionate about it. And so when you see that guy, I think he understands he's playing for a lot of other people than just himself. And good things are going to happen to him. He's got to continue to work hard. And so it was good to see that today. I think it put a smile on all of our faces.
Jason, you frequently hear NBA players say that every year they want to come back having added something to their game.
Yeah.
In the NFL, do you still feel that way? And if so, what did you focus on during the offseason?
Well, I think you're always trying to get better, and I think that never stops. And, off-season is a critical time to work on that, but even week to week, you're always working on things that you can improve. And, for me, I think in the NFL, it's just the consistency, day in and day out, week in and week out, being that same guy for your teammates to rely on, and to continue to be better. So for me, it's just the complete aspect, to block, to run routes, to score touchdowns, all those things are a huge part of your game that you're just trying to embrace and get better at.
Does your blood get flowing a little differently when you guys get out here for this first workout and the real work is beginning?
It is. I think it's just exciting to have this day and to know what's ahead, and for all of us, I think it's neat about this team is everybody's so passionate about playing and loving it. Seeing the rookie Dez out here and smiling like a little kid. I mean, it's just that's what it's all about, and a lot has to happen. There's going to be adversity. It's not always going to be like this today, but everybody cheering for you. But I think this team understands that, and is just excited about what's about to take place, and hopefully it's something great. But we got to control that.
You know Tony as well as anybody. Did you know he was going to say what he said last night? We'll see you in the Super Bowl. Did you know that was coming?
No, I didn't. I was a little surprised, but I think he's excited. I think he's confident in where he's at, and I think he's confident where everybody else is at, and really grabbing everybody and bringing them to the level where he's playing at. I think that's a sign of a great quarterback and really what he's trying to do. And so with that, good things will happen. And a lot has to unfold to get to that point. And we know that. And it was made clear to us this morning and last night. So, that train's going. It's one day at a time. You got to understand that.
You're so accustomed to all the attention that this team brings. What are some of the concerns that you have for some of the guys who may not be as accustomed to it as you are?
Well, it's our job to teach them that. It's our job to let them know that you can't get too high, you can't get too low, and there's going to be adversity. It's not going to be all cheers like it was today and smiles, and everybody's ready to play right now. But what are we going to be like in 10 weeks, 12 weeks, and 14 weeks from now? And so I think that's where the challenge is, and we have to. Everybody has to understand that, and I think this team has a good understanding of that. And so with that, good things will happen. Hopefully.
One other thing, Jason. The 2008 year when you guys were coming off 13-3, what do you think the core group of guys who were on that team learned when you didn't reach your full potential that following season?
Well, I think just playing in the moment, and it doesn't matter how you got there. You're in the playoffs and it's a new year, and I think we see that year in and year out, and just gravitating to that and understand that. And the same thing I was saying, you can't get too high, too low, and just continue to play better and better and better. And hopefully towards the end of Christmas and January, you're playing your best football. I think that's what we understand.
Jason, I remember thinking and saying last year at training camp that this ought to be the best red zone team in the NFL because you can stretch a defense on every axis. It didn't work out that way. How come, and how can you fix it?
Well, that's a huge area for us to work on, red zone. I think we all understand that and know that, and I think it's just a number of reasons, not just one thing that you say, oh, boom, that's it. So, that's all season studies that we do. We work on that and we learn from it, and hopefully we'll correct it here in this next few weeks.